Celebrating St. Patrick's Day. Good. Then we need to go.
Richard, how are you?
Hey,
I've been moving kind of fast this afternoon.
Welcome to the regular meeting of the Forsyth County Board of Commissioners. This meeting will be followed by a briefing session for the April 1st meeting. We will begin our meeting today with an invocation from Pastor Benjamin Marsh of First Alliance Church, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance led today by Commissioner Fleming Elamine. Pastor Marsh, you may begin. Please stand if you can.
thank you. Please join me in prayer. Sovereign God of the universe, we come as your under-shepherds and servants to meet the needs of the hour. Lord, we come seeking your wisdom, your grace, your inner working in each of our hearts, souls, and minds. As you move us toward unity, toward righteousness, and toward justice. Teach us the meaning of each of these in our working, in our community here and in the county. Teach us how to desire unity amongst all the various parts of the county and the many different people therein. Teach us the humility and the patience that is required to achieve unity. Teach us justice, what that means, and in our disagreements over what that means, teach us again patience and humility. Let us speak with kindness toward each other as we make difficult decisions. Lord, we thank you for your grace in these days as this virus is relieved and as we are moving toward reopening and understanding what that looks like in our different places of business and places of worship, in our governance and in our daily lives. Teach us wisdom in how to reopen and how to be patient with each other in our differences toward reopening. Teach us to find the needs of our community that have become uncovered and are as yet being uncovered in these days, as people have long suffered, many in silence, waiting until they could come out of their homes and rejoin society. Lord, let us look for the good of one another above our own, and let us sacrifice as our Lord did as we look toward Easter and to the cross, loving others more than we love even our own lives. Thank you that you triumphed over death and you gave us the resurrection as proof thereof. This we pray in your holy name. Amen.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Commissioners, we have a lot of items on the agenda today, and we have a closed meeting at the conclusion of the briefing session. Citizens who are interested in participating in the public portion of this meeting, we have a phone number for you. We'd like to have you very carefully remember it if you can. Get a pencil, write it down. You will be placed on hold until the public session begins. I'll repeat the number at least twice. The number is 336-422-1200. That is 336-422-1200. And remember, you'll be placed on hold until the session begins. That should come within the next few minutes. We hope that you'll take advantage of the opportunity. If you have any ideas, thoughts, or anything dealing with the problems, needs, and interests that are involved in Forsyth County. Next, we're going to have an update from Joshua Swift, who is the Forsyth County Public Health Director. Our update is going to be on the COVID-19 virus. Mr. Swift, you're on.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Thank you for this opportunity to come forward to you again. As of 3/17, our total cases in Forsyth County are 32,767 since the beginning of the COVID pandemic. The cases over the last 14 days is 705, which puts our average cases per day at 50 per day. and our total deaths is 357 since the beginning of the pandemic. These are some new charts I wanted to share with you, just to give you a snapshot of the amount of testing that occurs each week in Forsyth County. This is a total of all the tests that are conducted for COVID-19 each week, and you can see where we peaked at just under 15,000 in mid-December. Now our average weekly total is around 9,000 to 9,500 tests per week. So there is a little bit less testing than we have seen. Our average, as you can see, in early January was around 12 to 13,000 tests per week. Next is the total number of total positive tests that have occurred each week since the beginning of COVID-19, and you can see where we had the large uptick in the summer, which we thought it was large then we had a dip in the fall, and then how it went up drastically from early October up until late January, and we've been having a steep decline since then. Next, looking at our percent positive overlaid over the number of total positive tests, and you can see that our percent positive now is actually 3%. So 3% of our labs are positive. We wanted to be under 5, which is where we are now. This next slide looks at our hospitalizations for Forsyth County residents who are hospitalized in Forsyth County hospitals. You can see that number is trending down. It stayed pretty level in the mid-50s throughout the month of March, first half of March. Next is looking at our deaths over time. You can see, looking back over 3 months ago, all the way back to late November, our deaths were at 157. Now we're at 357 as of 3/13, the total number of deaths so far from COVID-19. Next, looking at the COVID-19 vaccinations. As of March 17th, the number of Forsyth County citizens who are fully vaccinated is 13.5% of the population, 51,746, and the number that is at least partially vaccinated is 18.4%, 70,441 residents. So next slide just shows, as of March 15th, the number of doses that have been administered by Forsyth County Department of Public Health. That's 57,373 doses, and of that, over 27,000 individuals have completed their series, which means they either got the one Johnson & Johnson or they've had their second dose of Moderna or Pfizer. Just a little bit of a summary on the mass vaccination event that we had over the weekend. It was Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Friday we went from 3 to 6 p.m. Saturday and Sunday from 8:30 to 6:30 p.m. at the fairgrounds in our education building. 7,752 doses of Johnson & Johnson were administered, and we're happy to say that over 30% of those appointments were individuals from historically marginalized populations. A huge collaboration between the Department of Public Health, Novant Health, and Wake Forest Baptist Health. Just a great opportunity with volunteers from both organizations, from the community, National Guard, emergency management, first responders. It was just a great event. And we were so glad to see the number of people that came through in those 2.5 days. Just a few more statistics about COVID vaccinations in Forsyth County. This chart looks at our number of individuals in the county that are fully vaccinated. I've already shared that percentage with you, but just looking at the breakdowns by age and race. So you can see by age, 42% of 65 to 74-year-olds are fully vaccinated, 47% of those 75 and older, much less when you look at our younger demographics of 25 to 49 at 10%, and roughly 12% for the 50 to 64 age range. Then when you look on the right side of the screen and you look at the part of each, the race by race in the subpopulation. So as I've shared before, when you look at this, you can see the 15% of white individuals in Forsyth County are fully vaccinated. 7.7% of African American individuals are fully vaccinated, and 4.5% of Hispanic individuals are fully vaccinated. Again, that means they've had both vaccines, both doses of Moderna or Pfizer, or one dose of Johnson & Johnson. So moving ahead, this is the next group is individuals that are partially vaccinated. So they've had at least one dose. Again, it's much higher numbers. 56% of those 65 and over have had at least one dose in Forsyth County. 58.5% of individuals over 75 have had at least one dose. Then when you skip over to the other side, 12% of African Americans have had at least one dose. 20% of white individuals in Forsyth County have had a first dose, and 6% of Hispanic individuals have had at least a first dose. And I hope you'll notice that over the weeks, we've had intentional efforts in the community with outreach and with work through FEMA that we're now going to be getting 3,000 more doses into the community that the health department and both hospitals will be working. But those FEMA doses are specifically allocated for our historically marginalized populations. And before that, we have done targeted outreach into the Hispanic and African American community. And I think you're seeing those numbers go up each week with this concerted effort. So this is a graphic, and you've seen this before, basically just stating that we're now into group 4, focused on those with higher risk medical conditions, and then eventually moving into those in congregate settings. So that is a brief report, and I would be happy to take any questions at this time.
Questions from Mr. Swift? Not a one.
Well,
Good.
Mr. Chairman, I just like one comment. I want to thank Joshua for the new bar graphs. That's quite a history from last March through now, which is very helpful and tells a big story. And at least at this point, I guess my bigger picture worry for the kind of just thinking broadly is that everybody, that we don't start having more vaccine than we have people wanting it. And it seems like we're still have a very high demand, and we're using all of our vaccines, and that's going well. I hope you share that.
Yeah, thank you. And just a note, our doses are going up. We got last week 1,500 doses. This week we're going to get 2,300 doses. So it's up some, but again, it doesn't meet the demand and the capacity that we have right now. But we are hopeful that in April we'll start seeing more Johnson & Johnson coming back into the state, and there'll be more of the Moderna and Pfizer as well.
Do you have any target dates for vaccinating children in this public school system?
Well, at this time, Chairman Plyler, only those that are 16 or older are eligible only for Pfizer. Moderna and Johnson & Johnson are for those that are 18 and over. But we do have a segment of the high school population that is eligible for the Pfizer vaccine, and especially those that are working in essential jobs, frontline roles, as in either in restaurants, grocery stores, or other areas. So we are seeing more clients in that age bracket that are now coming through.
Well, thank you very much for the report today. It's good to know that we're on the positive side for this time, and I hope your good luck and everything happens with the professionalism that you have, and all of the team that you're operating with continues. Thanks again. Commissioners, the first item on the agenda is a public hearing regarding the issuance of a note not to exceed $12 million of Public Finance Authority revenue bonds 2021 for the benefit of the Young Men's Christian Association of North Carolina. The first speaker for this particular item is Mary Nash Rusher of McGuire Woods, LLP. Ms. Rusher, please review this request.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. We are serving as bond counsel for the YMCA's debt in this instance. The proceeds of these bonds will be used to refinance an existing loan that was used just a few months ago to purchase the Robin Hood Road YMCA and also to refinance some earlier notes that were used to finance both the Robin Hood Road improvements and the Jerry Long YMCA. These bonds are being issued through the Public Finance Authority pursuant to the Federal Tax Code. It requires an approval in principle of the issuance of these bonds for the benefit of the Y from the jurisdiction in which the facilities are located. No credit of the county is involved. This will not appear on the county's financial statements. This is simply an approval in principle in order to satisfy a particular provision of the Federal Tax Code. I am happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Ms. Rushner? Thank you very much for that report. Madam Clerk, Ashley Sloop, have you received any comments in favor or in opposition to this matter? Any?
No, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you very much. Following the requirements of Session Law 2020-3, the board will continue to receive comment on this matter from 4 p.m. March 19th, 2021. You may wish to submit a comment, and if you do, we have a telephone number for you, and I'll repeat this one twice. If you wish to comment on the YMCA's request, the number is 336-703-2020. The number is 336-703-2020 for directions. The next item on the agenda is a public hearing on the Doral Drive, Renolda Road interchange plan. The first speaker on this particular item will be Marco Andrade of the Planning and Development Services. If you're there, you're on. It appears as though we don't have Ms. Andrade with us, so.
This slides up.
I'm here now.
Oh, you're okay. Okay, Marco, you're on the air. Go for it.
Okay. Do you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman and County Commissioners. I'm briefing you on, or I'm going to talk a little bit about the Doral Drive and Renolda Road interchange plan that we completed. This is the second interchange plan that we have completed. The first one was at 158 Ritzville Road, and we have completed the second one, and we'll be working on some others in the near future. These interchange plans, the goal is to involve the community to develop a long-term vision for the interchange, and there are to provide some design guidance. We're not changing the proposed land uses from the area plans. It's just providing some design guidelines as those interchanges are developed. And we may have some recommendations for infrastructure too. This shows the boundaries of the two areas, the Doral Drive and the Renolda Road. Most of the land for these two interchanges is in the unincorporated Forsyth County. There's a little bit of land on this city of Winston-Salem and also Tobaccoville. As I said, we're not changing the land uses, so what we have for these two interchanges is basically residential. For the Doral Drive, we have a single family in the yellow and a little bit of multifamily. And for Renolda, it's a multifamily, and there is this specific site that has an industrial land use, and we'll talk about that. But what we have to do, or what we did in this case, was just concentrate on the residential component of the two interchanges. So we had our kickoff meeting, and we received comments from the citizens. Very well attended meeting. What we heard was that if this land is developed along the interchanges, that any development should reflect the existing patterns in the area, meaning the lot sizes, which is basically RS20, the roads, interconnected streets, maybe some cul-de-sacs, trying to preserve wooded lands, and really having bike and pedestrian connections, particularly extending the Mountains to Sea Trail, which runs through the area. So we provided an illustration trying to show the citizens what could happen if this is developed comprehensively, and because of the existing topography, we divided the site into two sections, and through the middle is the open space section with the trail and connecting to the Long Creek Park. So again, it's just an illustration to show the citizens what could happen if this is developed with the criteria that they told us they wanted the developer to follow. For the Ronaldo Road, we did exactly the same. Have a section A, which is multifamily, an extension of the subdivision B, and C. Unfortunately, we couldn't do much on C because right now it doesn't have sewer, so any redevelopment of that property at this point is premature for non-residential uses. So we had the same ask the citizens what they would like to see here. The concentration was in the multifamily. They say maybe a mixture of apartments, townhouses, cluster homes, and really have a development that has some green spaces and hopefully no more than 2 stories, and not having it visible from Ronaldo Road. So we took those comments and developed an illustration of what could happen, preserving as much as open space as possible and interconnecting the entire development and having the sidewalks and paths to connect all sites. We also show an extension of the subdivision, an existing subdivision through Scott Street. It's a pretty simple extension of that, but just to show what may happen when this is completed. So with that, we had a public hearing before the planning board in November, and they recommended adoption of the plan to the city council. We had a public hearing on the plan in February 2021 before the city council, and they recommended adoption of the plan. And today, we are before you seeking adoption of this plan. I'll be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Commissioners, any questions for Marco Andrade? Comments? Thank you, Mr. Andrade. Appreciate your information on this. Madam Clerk, have you received any comments in favor or in opposition to this matter?
No, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you. Following the new requirements of Session Law 2020-3, the board will continue to receive public comment on this matter until 4 p.m. on March 19th, 2021. If you wish to submit a comment, please call this number, 336-703-2020. 336-703-2020. Commissioners, the third item on this agenda is a solution requesting abandonment of a portion of Pack Drive from North Carolina State Maintained Road System. Do you hear a motion? Do I hear a motion? Do anybody? I don't think we have an awful lot of information on this in front of us. Let's pause for a moment. Dudley, does this require any more information than what we have on this document?
This does not. This essentially does not require a public hearing, so you can go ahead and take a motion. If you want a quick review of it, we can certainly do that. We've been through it, but be happy to review that quickly if you want to.
Okay, Commissioners, do you?
Chairman, I'm prepared to make a motion that we approve the item 3, which is requesting abandonment of the portion of Pack Drive from North Carolina State Maintained Secondary Road System.
Good. We have a motion from Commissioner Martin. Do we hear a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner McDaniel. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries unanimously.
Same issue for the next one, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, North Carolina State Maintained Road is on the agenda. We'll talk about that. The item has to do with a resolution requesting abandonment of a portion of Bowman Road from the North Carolina State Maintained Road System. Do I hear a motion?
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Fleming Elamine.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Richard Linville. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Fifth item on the agenda is approval of minutes for the meetings of February 25, 2021, March 1, 2021, and March 4th, 2021. Do I have a motion?
Move to approve.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Fleming Elamine.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Don Martin. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Next item on the agenda is the public session. Ashley Sloop, Clerk to the Forsyth County Board of Commissioners. Do we have a lot of phone calls from people who would like to express their opinions regarding problems, needs, and interests in Forsyth?
No, Mr. Chairman, we do not have calls.
That's what I was afraid of. Thank you very much. Well, we've come to the end of this particular item and at the end of this particular agenda. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
We have several more items.
We're ready to go to item 7.
Well, gosh. Yes, I did skip it. I'm trying to get out of here as fast as we can, but that's okay. You know, there's a storm coming up on us. Mr. County Manager, it's all yours.
Okay, I just thought you were going to ignore me, and I'm used to that sometimes, so we're particularly at home, but we won't get into that. Okay, we do have some business items for consideration this afternoon, and they have been reviewed at least twice in briefing sessions. Hopefully, we've answered all the questions that have arisen, so we'll go ahead and dive into them and get on through them. Item 7 is an amendment to the FY 2021 Capital Reserve Fund to appropriate refunding bond proceeds for future debt service costs related to the 2021C general obligation refunding bond issuance. So,
Comments?
Move to approve.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Martin.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Fleming Elamine. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries.
Item 8 is also a bond issuance matter. It's an amendment to the FY 2021 Debt Service Fund. It appropriates $22,550,000 of 2021C general obligation refunding bond proceeds for the redemption of callable maturities from the 2004A, 2004B, and 2007B variable rate general obligation bonds, and that is essentially a refunding that will save us, if I remember the number correctly, over the life of the issuance, about $2.5 million.
Questions or comments?
Move to approve.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Fleming Elamine.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Tanya McDaniel. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
Agenda item 9 is an amendment to the 2020-2021 budget ordinance to appropriate grant funds from the North Carolina Land and Water Fund to acquire property on Blues Lake. Parks and Rec submitted this. This will essentially budgeted the anticipated funds that the board gave us approval to go ahead and apply for. We received $640,000, and so this will get that in the accounting system.
Questions, comments?
Move to approve.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Richard Linville.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Don Martin. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries.
All right, agenda item 10 is a resolution authorizing execution of an amendment to the agreement between Forsyth County and the Winston-Salem Forsyth County Board of Education for the provision of school resource officer services. You've got an associated budget amendment that essentially adds revenue back into our budget from the schools for payment, and this essentially will allow us to advance hire those 13 additional SROs early so that they can be ready when we start school in August.
Questions, comments?
Move to approve.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Fleming Elamine. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Don Martin. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
Agenda item 11 is a resolution authorizing submission of an application to the NC Impact Initiative at the UNC School of Government. It'll let us apply for and accept, if awarded, a grant for the My Future NC network of local educational attainment collaboratives program. It's a $25,000 grant, 2-year pilot project. It really fits into the work we're trying to do as a convener in that community and economic development.
Questions or comments?
Move to approve.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Fleming Elamine.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Tanya McDaniel. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
Item 12 is a resolution authorizing execution of an engagement letter between Forsyth County and Parker Poe Adams and Bernstein LLP for additional bond counsel services related to the 2021C general obligation refunding bonds, really the subject of those earlier agenda items. This will allow us to get bond counsel lined up.
Comments or questions?
So moved.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Don Martin.
Second.
A second by Commissioner Richard Linville. All in favor of the motion, say aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries.
All right, Item 13 is a resolution authorizing execution of an agreement between Forsyth County and the Resource Company Incorporated to provide temporary employment services for non-clinical COVID-19 vaccination and response to the Department of Public Health, not to exceed $175,000.
Questions or comments?
Move to approve.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Fleming Elamine,
Second.
second by Commissioner Tanya McDaniel. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
Item 14 is a resolution authorizing execution of an interlocal agreement between Forsyth County and the Winston-Salem-Forsyth County Board of Education for use of county-owned fuel pumps located at 3730 North Liberty Street. Essentially a good collaboration, allows them to use those fuel pumps as we are decommissioning the fuel pumps at the old Lansing Drive site.
Questions?
Move approval.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Gloria Wizenhunt, second by Commissioner Tanya McDaniel. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries.
Item 15 is a resolution authorizing the acceptance of an easement from the City of Winston-Salem relating to the construction and operation of the new Forsyth County Courthouse, which is underway adjacent to us on Chestnut Street. We have been working diligently to get this agreement in line. Gordon, do you have any update on where we are with this and what they have in front of them?
Yes, what you have in front of you at last is an easement document, which is actually 5 permanent easements. They're all in one easement document. So there are 5 permanent easements and then a temporary construction easement. Basically, as we talked about before, and if you blow it up, you can see it on the plat at the last page. There's going to be work done under 2nd Street and for the tunnel, and also Chestnut Street for the tunnel. And then underneath Chestnut Street, there will be some footers for the foundation and also shoring to shore up the Chestnut Street during construction. And finally, at the back of the new building on Patterson, part of that area will be used by the courthouse to basically extend the lot. And so appreciate the folks over at the city working with us. I believe the city council will vote on this next week on the 22nd, and that should finalize it. As you can see, even in the rain, our folks are out there working, and they're digging up tremendous amounts of former foundation of the older buildings so they can put in the new foundation.
Comments
I'm
or
happy to answer any
questions?
questions.
Any questions for Gordon? You want a souvenir brick or anything like that? Do I have a motion?
Move for approval.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Richard Linville,
Second.
second by Commissioner Fleming Elamine. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
Item 16 is the hearing on the request for the refund of the excise tax overpayment, and then the resolution authorizing the refund of excise tax overpayment. We've taken care of the hearing, I think, in a previous part of this. So approval of the resolution would essentially be the deed recorded by the law firm of Barbara Stewart. Her office is over in Greensboro. That she inadvertently filed that in Forsyth County rather than Davidson County.
Okay. Comments or questions?
Move approval.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Gloria Wizenhunt,
Second.
second by Commissioner Don Martin. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries.
All right, I believe you got appointments next. I don't know if those are...
Okay, we'll turn the meeting over now to our Vice Chairman, Don Martin.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Our first appointments deal with the Adult Care Home Community Advisory Committee. And basically, we have 7 appointments and 5 are open, but we have no applicants, and we need to continue to advertise for a future meeting. Similarly, we have no applicants, I apologize. The next is the Appearance Commission of Winston-Salem, Forsyth County. There are actually 4 appointments that are available. We have 1 incumbent wishing to serve, Anton Mosave, and a citizen wishing to serve, John Rothling. And we can actually approve by acclamation the incumbent and the citizen wishing to serve, and then continue to advertise for the remaining slots.
Is that in the form of a motion?
Yes.
I'll second it. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries.
For the Commission on Indian Homelessness in Winston-Salem, Forsyth County, we actually have 1 appointment for a 3-year term expiring January 2024. And we have one citizen wishing to serve, Willie Coker, and I'd like to make a motion, we approve by acclamation.
I'll second the motion. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Nextly, we have the Commission on Indian Homelessness, Winston-Salem, Forsyth County. This is for an education representative. We do not have any applicants, and we can continue to advertise for a future meeting. For the Commission to Indian Homelessness, Winston-Salem, Forsyth County, we need one law enforcement representative, and we have two citizens wishing to serve, Jennifer Martin, Conrad Walsh, and I'd like to ask you to please vote for one.
And here comes the man who delivers the votes. Dudley Watts.
Mr. Chairman, Jennifer Martin received a majority vote.
Thank you very much.
On the, also for the Commission on Indian Homelessness, Winston-Salem, Forsyth County, we have one appointment and we have no applicants, and we need to continue advertising for a future meeting. Next, we have the Community Child Protection Team, Child Fatality Prevention Team. We have one appointment to that committee. There are no applicants. We can continue to advertise to a future meeting. For the Equalization and Review Board, we have 5 appointments to serve until all matters have been considered relative to tax listings and tax values for the current year. There are no particular categories that are open. We have 4 incumbents wishing to serve: Mary Beth Adbo, Melissa Anderson, Richard Davis, and Paul McGill. We have 2 citizens wishing to serve, Daniel Crudup and Tracy Lesser. Please vote for 4. Excuse me, vote for 5. I apologize.
I understand, not a problem.
You want a
Talking or,
motion?
I'm sorry.
Do you want a motion for that?
I just think we vote whenever who wins. I don't think we have a motion for voting.
Well, yeah, if you want to make a motion.
Oh.
Yeah.
Did we do a motion?
Mr. Chairman, Mary Beth Abdow, Melissa Anderson, Richard Davis, Paul McGill, and Daniel Crudup received a majority vote.
Good, thank you. Mr. Martin.
All righty. Next, we have the Forsyth County Agricultural Advisory Board. There are 3 appointments, 1 3-year term expiring in February, 2 3-year terms expiring in, one's February 23, the other's February 24. We have only 1 applicant, citizen wishing to serve, Michael Banner. I'd like to make a motion that we appoint him by acclamation.
I'll second the motion. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Next, we have the Forsyth County Home and Community Care Block Grant Advisory Council. We have 10 appointments, 2-year terms expiring February 2023, and there are no particular categories for approval, and we have incumbents wishing to serve: Andrew Applegate, Linda Darden, Dr. Aletha Taylor-Jones, Helen Mack, Reginald Reed, Charles Swanson. We have 2 citizens wishing to serve: Linda Turner and Fran Woolberg. And we can actually, I'd like to make a motion, we approve all of those by acclamation.
I will second the motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Next, we have the Forsyth County Juvenile Crime Prevention Council. We have one appointment to fill the unexpired term of Antonio Caldwell, expiring June 2021, and Angela Harrison's term expiring June 2022. We have the two categories of service. One's a Parks and Recreation representative, the other is the school superintendent or designee. We have a citizens wishing to serve. We have Thua Martin from Parks and Recreation, apologize for probably mispronouncing her first name, and Jesse Pratt as a designee from the superintendent's office. I'd like to make a motion, we approve both Mrs. Martin and Mr. Pratt by acclamation.
I will second the motion. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Next, we have the Industrial Facilities and Pollution Control Financing Authority. There are three appointments. We have no applicants. We need to continue advertising for a future meeting. For the Nursing Home Community Advisory Committee of Forsyth County, we actually have 10 appointments, and we have no applicants, so we need to continue advertising for folks to serve. The Piedmont Triad Regional Workforce Development Board, there is one appointment to fill the unexpired term of Dr. Sidney Richardson, expiring June 2021. And this category represents adult education. We have a citizen wishing to serve, Taylor Stanley. I'd like to make a motion that Taylor be approved by acclamation.
I'll second the motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Next, we have the Planning Board, City County Planning Board, one appointment for a 4-year term expiring 2025. The particular capacity is a resident living outside of the city of Winston-Salem. We actually have 4 folks wishing to serve, one incumbent, Jason Grubbs, 3 citizens wishing to serve, Melissa Anderson, Kenneth Holly, and Barry Lanier. Please vote for one.
Mr. Chairman, Jason Grubbs received majority vote.
Thank you, Mrs. Sloop. Mr. Martin.
Yes. The next, we have the Public Art Commission, City County Public Arts Commission. We have one appointment to a 4-year term, expiring December 2024. Categories of arts professional, and we have one, Jennifer Finkel. And I'd like to make a motion, we approve her by acclamation.
I will second the motion. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
And Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make one comment. I'd like to thank all the folks who expressed interest in serving on our committees. We continue to have, I think, excellent applicants, but we were a little short some applicants for committees this time. And I hope that more citizens will consider being willing to serve to help represent the many committees that are supported by both our county and city.
I was thinking the same thing. Thank you, sir, very much. Mr. County Manager?
All right, thank you, Mr. Chairman. So agenda item 18 is a resolution awarding a contract for the purchase of Dodge Durango police pursuit vehicles for use by Emergency Services Department as the paramedic quick response vehicles. You got an associated budget ordinance amendment that does the accounting piece on that matter. And so in looking at it, I believe I did find an error in the item. So I'll turn it over to the Deputy Manager, Damon Sanders Pratt.
Sure. So the item that you have still has the V8 vehicle, but the actual item is a V6 Durango, where the total cost through Ilderton is actually $92,706 for the Durangos, 3 V6s. And so we will switch those out, but the item you have is the former one. But we actually have a correct one. We just hadn't switched it out and put it in your updated online agenda here.
Questions or comments?
Just to be clear, Damon, so we're voting on the V8,
Yes, sir.
V6, you're voting on V6.
we're voting the V6.
3 V6s, and the total is $92,706, and they are $30,902 a vehicle, as opposed to the one that you have, which is a little higher than that.
Chairman, I'd like to make a motion, we approve the V6 engines.
Motion to approve the V6 by Commissioner Don Martin. I will second the motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No,
No,
Well, we might have to go back.
I think it was
We
4
have-
I think it was 4-2.
I think it was. So it's defeated. Gosh, that's just a V6, right?
Well, Mr. Chairman, I believe the vote was in favor of 4-2, but you might want to poll the members.
Let's do that.
Okay, sorry. I misheard.
Just say yes or no. Commissioner Lindell,
I was opposed.
sir?
I
No.
was opposed.
Okay,
I said yes.
okay. 1-1 so far.
I said yes.
2-1, yes.
No.
Yes. 3-1.
I said no.
3-2.
no.
3-3.
3-3, I apologize.
I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman, I miscounted, so so no action is taken if it's 3-3.
We'll wait for Theodore.
You know, I can't remember when we had a vote like that, where it becomes just different.
Well,
That's why we have 7 members.
Why we have 7
Ted
members.
Kaplan goes to the Caribbean for one dime.
Mr. Chairman,
Yeah, yes, yes,
Mr. Chairman,
yes, sir.
I want to offer another motion.
Yes, sir.
Last week, I believe it was last week, there was discussion, the same discussion, and Mr. Martin, he was in favor of to begin with, I believe it was 2 weeks back, or longer. And one of the discussions, I believe it was last week, he suggested to buy one 6-cylinder of these vehicles and 2 of what was originally recommended of the 8 cylinders. I'm going to make a motion to that effect. Buying 2 of the 8-cylinder vehicles and 1 of the 6-cylinder.
I can support that.
You can support that?
I can support that.
Second the
Can any-
motion.
That's what I said 2 weeks ago.
I will second the motion.
Well, we have a motion from Commissioner Linville, a second from Commissioner Fleming Elamine. This time, let's just raise our hands. All in favor, raise your hands. My golly, Richard, you did it again. All opposed? Not a one. And so the motion carries unanimously.
Very good. We do have a couple of added items. We've got added item 19, which is a resolution ratifying and authorizing execution of an interlocal agreement with the City of Winston-Salem for administration of the Emergency Rental Assistance Program. We've got an associated amendment to the CRF fund, special revenue to make that happen. I'll ask, I know there's interest in kind of how this program's going. I'll turn it over to Deputy Manager Chantel Robinson to review this real quickly.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. So Social Services Director Victor Isler briefed this item last week, but just an update. The DSS team has been working collaboratively with the City of Winston-Salem as well as the contractors that have been selected. And if this is approved, the goal is to get the program up and running by April 2nd, so really in a couple weeks. Other than that, if there's any other questions, I'd be happy to answer them, or Victor Isler's also on the line.
Additional questions for Chantel? It's not a one. You want to vote on that?
Yes, sir.
I'm happy to move approval.
Second.
Quick. Commissioner Martin voted to approve, and Commissioner Fleming Elamine seconded the motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
All right, and then the last item was added. It's a resolution granting Scott W. Angel, our General Services Director, a hardship exception to the residency requirements for department managers.
Comments or questions? Motion?
Move to approve.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Fleming Elamine, second by, which was it? Commissioner Richard, did you do that, or was it Don?
I didn't, but I will.
Great.
Richard Linville. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
I'm not in favor.
Oh, you're not in favor. Well, let's make that 1, 2, 3.
Sorry.
Okay, 4-1 in favor.
And the only other item I would just mention, and I think I wanted to do it in the formal session, is there was an appointment for a person to serve on the selection committee for the pre-K initiative. And that's not a person to serve on the pre-K initiative committee. It's really just to get county input for who might serve on that pre-K initiative. And so kind of whether or not, the question about whether or not we go out and advertise that one like we would a normal appointment seems a little bit excessive because it's really just for that sole purpose of helping set that up. So the thoughts were that we would let that be more of a chairman appointment like, because it's ad hoc, like some of the other appointments, if that's satisfactory with the board. And certainly if any county commissioners are interested in serving on that selection committee, that would make sense, or the chairman can work with you to get somebody on that.
You want to vote on that?
That might help.
Comments or
Make a motion that
questions?
the chairman make the appointment to the selection committee for the pre-K initiative.
Motion by Commissioner Don Martin.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Fleming Elamine. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
That's all.
I mentioned a moment ago that was a 4-1 vote. It was a 5-1 vote, and I stand corrected. Do we have any further information or comments or discussions before we adjourn to go to the briefing session?
I guess it's just one matter. Do we need to go into closed session, or can we go into closed session after our briefing? Okay. So should I make that motion? Go ahead and make that motion now to go into closed session after our briefing session's over? We can do that, can't we? Thank you. I'm sorry, losing my mind. Yep. I'll be ready for it then.
This is one of those days,
It is. I think it's the weather. So anyway, that's it.
Point of privilege, please, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir, Fleming Elamine.
Brief comment. Since we're celebrating the many contributions of Women this month, there's a young lady on the back wall back there by the name of Commissioner Gloria Whisenhunt that we really need to recognize, I think, for her contributions. And in that same vein, I understand that Commissioner Maisie Woodruff was the only one to serve as vice chair of the county commissioners in the history of the county commissioners. So I'd like to lift both of them up for recognition at this moment.
I have no problem to lifting up Commissioner Whisenhunt and Maisie Woodruff. Are we all agreed on that? If so, let's just say aye.
Aye.
Unanimous. You did a good job, and I seconded the motion.
Thank you all. I appreciate it.
Well, if there's no further, we'll come back in 10 minutes. Let's take a 10-minute recess.
Well, let's adjourn this meeting. I make a motion, we adjourn this.
Commissioner Martin has recommended we adjourn. I second the motion. We're adjourned for 10 minutes.